The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of the staff or management of Visionary Related Entertainment.
Aloha and welcome to Maui Nonprofit Notes. Now in our 10th year of broadcasting each week, we continue talking story with Maui's nonprofit executive directors and their staff to find out how they're working to support those with needs within our community. Maui Nonprofit Notes is generously sponsored by Pacific Source. If you're building or remodeling a home, please stop by Pacific Source's cabinet and appliance showroom located in the Waikapu Bayshard. I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and your host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. During this hour, we're going to share some of the experiences of our nonprofit agencies and just how they're changing lives, changing communities, and creating miracles of hope for those with needs. Today, we're going to start off the show talking with Stacy Moniz, who's the Executive Director of the Maui Farm. Hi, Stacy.
Hi, Susie.
How you
Thanks
doing?
for having me on. Oh, I'm doing great.
Hey, have you hit six months over there yet?
Yes, I did. I started in August, so...
Oh, my goodness, you're
it's
going
been
on to a
almost
year.
a year, yeah. Time flies.
Oh, man,
Truly.
does it.
Especially on a farm. It does.
So you're on your second round of crops.
Yeah, we kind of are. We're on our first round of lychee, which I was excitedly sharing about. So, yeah, time does definitely fly. And you can tell the seasons by what's growing. And that's so cool. It's my first time experiencing that.
Oh, really?
Oh, my God, I'm super excited. I wish I got to spend more time on the farm, and less time in the office, but Wednesday mornings are community gardening for our staff and the residents at the farm, so I spend all morning there. So I came running in a little bit sweaty, but I did have a bag of lychee to bring. So, and that's the cool thing about the farm. And every time people come and help us out, we're able to give back a little bit of something yummy to eat, hopefully.
Cool, yeah. That's the first crop of lychee, you say?
It is. In years, nobody could remember that tree ever giving fruit. So
really?
I think that cold winter has done amazing things. Like if you even look at the trees in Makawao or the avocado trees, we're going to have a banner mango avocado year, I think, because that cold winter and now this super hot summer, it's kind of extreme. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got going extreme on both ends here. Yeah.
So, but I think it's kind of good for a lot of the crops here. So
interesting. Shock them.
Shock. Yeah, scare them. Think they're going to die. Okay, I'll make fruit.
I was always taught you don't want to shock trees, but
know,
that
right?
sounds like what's going on.
Yeah. So
interesting.
I noticed some of the avocados in Makawao, like they had more flowers than leaves. So I think it's going to be an amazing year for avocados. I'm excited for that too.
So if they're flowers now, how long is it going to be before their avocados?
Well, I think they're becoming avocados already. Even the mangoes. Yeah. I saw Hayden mangoes from Kihei in Pukalani Superette yesterday.
Wow.
So ripe. Oh. We made green mango with the shoyu and sugar vinegar the other day, but ripe mangoes are the best. I can hardly wait. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You're grinning from ear to ear and getting ready to kind of slobber on them.
I know, right?
That's an awful picture I just painted, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's you. You love your fruits and vegetables.
For sure.
And so the farm is a great place for you, isn't it?
It is. And we don't just grow fruits and vegetables at the farm. People always ask me that. What do you grow at the Maui farm? Oh, we grow healthy families. So that's going to be a new
that's
thing.
number one.
Yeah. We don't just grow veggies and fruits at the farm. We are a nonprofit, obviously, who provides farm-based transitional housing for women and their children who are in transition from either domestic violence, substance abuse, homelessness, other kinds of crisis. And it's a transitional housing program, so they can stay about a year. We have 4 homes that are really large, beautiful homes, and we usually have 2 women and their children in each home. They share. So we do a lot of education just on roommate issues, because the current housing market, we can probably expect that a lot of our families will have to have roommates at some point. So we're teaching roommate issues, landlord, being responsible tenants, how to communicate with your landlord. And then we do family strengthening up at the farm, which is just magical and transformative. And yeah, we use the farm as a teacher, and it's beautiful. There are a lot of people who have never planted a seed and watched it grow into something. And so even our bookkeeper, she's like, oh, I don't really do outside and sun and stuff. And we're like, well, good. You're going to have a great adventure. And she's like, I am. And yes, she's had a great adventure, and she always looking for her beets because she planted beet seeds, then replanted them, and then now they're in the ground. So she's watching, and she'll get to harvest and eat the beets. So, you know, it's such a great experience for the women and for the kids. So I love it. I think farming, we all have roots in agriculture, but we've been separated from that for many, even generations, some of us.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to my next door where my grandma lived, and the beautiful garden she had, and when the peas in the pods were ripe,
Oh, God.
man, I'd sneak over there and I'd just start popping them, right?
Yeah.
And I'd hear Grandma say, Susie, are you in the garden? And I go, uh-oh.
I know that sound.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, Grandma, what's up? And she go, don't eat the peas. They're for Grandpa for supper. And I go,
Too late.
can you wait until next week?
Yes.
Or I'd be gone and she'd come out and find this pile of pods.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
That was favorite. The peas and the what was the set of tomatoes, of course.
Yeah.
And corn on the cob. Just
Oh,
eat
God.
it. You don't have to cook it. Don't
Yeah.
have to do anything. Just clean the silk off and eat.
Yes, so sweet. Yeah, fresh out of the garden. My grandson will be 7 this month, and you know, when he was born, and one of his first foods was tomato, kind of by accident. I kind of gave him a tomato to gnaw on. He didn't have actual teeth through the skin yet, but he broke a hole through the skin and was eating it, and he was only like 5 months old, and I panicked and had to Google, how old are you supposed to be? You're not supposed to have tomatoes till you're 9 months old, but he didn't. He was fine, and it's actually his favorite food, so I kind of live my life to grow the perfect tomato for him.
There you go.
know, and I love tomatoes too, so we all,
Oh, yeah.
it's fun. I think we all love those little cherry tomatoes. They're very sweet and yummy, and then big, fat, juicy tomatoes. So, yeah, we have all of those growing right now. We have Roma tomatoes in that are ripe on the farm.
I start every day with V8 juice.
Good for you. That's very healthy.
It used to be orange juice, nothing but orange
Yeah.
juice. And then one day, I can't remember what was going on. I think I was gone someplace tonight. The restaurant didn't have fresh squeezed orange juice. So I thought, I'll just try this V8 juice. It sold me.
Yeah, you get way more vitamins and I think less sugar that way too. So probably good. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for you.
Tomatoes.
I know,
Ugh.
tomatoes are the bomb. So, yeah, we are, you know, eventually, so we do mostly grow the food on the farm for the women and children that are living there. And it's kind of fun because some of us don't know what all these vegetables are. And we have this patch of kale, and we also have these bunny rabbits. We also have goats, we have chickens, and so I had made a salad. Our avocado tree was ripe, so we picked an avocado and lemon, and you know, you just mash the avocado with the kale and you make a salad out of that. We even had a fig on our fig tree, so it was this random salad. And she said, this one young woman said, I didn't know you could eat that. I thought that was just bunny food, the kale, because we feed it to the bunny rabbits, which they love it. But so we're also inviting these women to learn new things and make simple meals that are healthy out of these whole foods and get more vegetables in their lives. And then maybe when they move on and get their own housing, they can start a little garden or have a chicken or two, because we have farm fresh eggs that they gather every morning, and there's nothing quite like that farm fresh egg, and you don't have to go to the farmer's market, and chickens are easier than you think. I even have chickens at my house that we've had for quite a few years now, and they're super easy, and they turn your kitchen scraps into food that you can eat.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah, so you can make a little house and they're good, but yeah, it's a very cool place. And so we often will invite people up to come into a farm tour or to our community gardening at the end of the month. The last Saturday of the month from 9 to 11, we invite people up to come and help us out on the farm. The last couple of months we've been working on these raised beds that were composting and doing what's called a lasagna bed. And so everybody thinks, oh, we're growing basil and tomatoes and mozzarella plants.
Mozzarella plants.
But
I want to see that package.
yeah, it's actually a style of composting. I am learning so much. Like I know this much about farm, just a tiny bit. I'm learning so much. My learning curve has been steep. But lasagna composting, you put green waste, so it's all green, fresh things from your yard, and then brown waste, which is the nitrogen. So you have 2 parts of nitrogen to 1 part of green, and you layer it and layer it and layer it, and then you smash it down, you water it all the time, and it'll start to decompose. We also use this thing called effective microorganisms. It's kind of like a live culture. You buy it in liquid form, and then you mix it with water and molasses, and it will feed on the molasses, and it helps to decompose the stuff in your so you spray that on, and then it helps that. And then after a while you keep piling this on, and then you put soil on top and you plant your vegetables, and it'll continue to decompose. So the bed will drop down over time, but you can already grow food while you're still composting. So it's a super effective place. And we made it out of pallets that are free. And so it's very simple and can be done on a small scale. So we've been teaching people how to do the lasagna bed. So this month, on June 29th, we will actually be planting the lasagna beds.
And that's your community gardening day.
Yep.
Cool.
And so we have some regulars that come up that are excited. We have this one volunteer, he works for Southwest Airlines, and he brings his daughters that are twins, and they run around, and he's so committed to this lasagna bed. It's so amazing. He's worked really, really hard. So I hope he can make it on Saturday and help us plant, because it's going to be an exciting day.
So are there certain vegetables that do better in that kind of an atmosphere?
No, I think everything does well. We had another lasagna bed that we planted when I first got there. So we're on our second planting of that lasagna bed, and we planted herbs, and we teach this thing called companion planting, so that you plant vegetables, herbs, flowers all in the same area to attract the pollinators, to have beneficial partnerships, and it reminds us, like us, that we do better when we're in companionship with people and we connect with each other, and the plants do better. And so we had everything from lettuces and not basil. Well, we have basil too, but it's the other one, parsley. There's so many things that I'm learning. We had parsley and lettuce, and we had broccoli. We actually grew giant broccoli in this bed. I have never seen broccoli grow before. And tomatoes. The tomatoes on this plant, on this lasagna bed, were incredible. And I said, so we could really plant tomatoes and basil and have,
the start of lasagna.
Yeah, the start. So it was very cool. I'm serious. We grew tomatoes that were this big. I've never, really, really big, like a softball size.
Yeah. Wow.
So it was really good. And so I'm expecting, so that wasn't a big lasagna bed. And then we decided that that's really not practical for most home gardeners to have this big lasagna bed. So we did a couple of smaller ones made out of pallets. And so we're trying to teach people how to home garden on a smaller level, doable, make it not so hard for people. Maybe at some point we'll have like a video blog or YouTube channel or something. I watch a lot of gardening YouTube channels, so I didn't know that was a thing, but it's a thing. I actually subscribe to the thing, so I can watch this lady do her gardening at home.
Interesting.
It is. It's
Boy,
really
you're all in, aren't you?
I am.
On that note, we got to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Good, thanks.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show, excuse me, where we talk story with our executive directors and staff from our nonprofit agencies here on Maui. And this afternoon, hello, reminder that it's afternoon.
Yeah.
We started the show with Stacy Moniz, who's the executive director of the Maui Farm. And she's giving us all kinds of cool tips on gardening and things she's learned since she's been at the farm. And, you know, I remember when I first heard about the Maui Farm, and I thought it was a farm, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the publicity or the way it was being marketed or talked about or what, but the program was kind of secondary.
Uh-huh.
And when I learned the program that goes with it, it's like, wait a minute, you guys.
Yeah.
This is a fabulous program
my
that
gosh.
happens to include a farm.
Yes.
And all the things that people can learn. And, you know, it's always amazing to me how little most people know about gardening, farming,
Oh, it's
animals,
so true. Yeah.
fruits and vegetables, trees, etc. And I can't imagine how excited these women and their kids must be. Maybe not to get there and start, but after a couple of months, I mean, they've got to be all in.
You know, and I think when you're talking about women that are coming out of domestic violence, they're coming out of substance abuse treatment, maybe family court, drug court, and any of these scenarios that lead to homelessness and are, you know, for a lot of these women, they're used to being isolated and kind of just holding up in the house with their kids. And the first thing we do is just encourage them to come and get outside and come to the farm. And they say, oh, but I really don't want to talk to anybody. That's fine. We'll put you in a corner all by yourself. You don't have to talk to anybody. Just, you know, let's take a moment and think about the things in your life that really aren't serving you right now. And every weed you pull, you just like, I'm getting rid of all the junk in my life right now. And then pretty soon you have this whole pile of junk that's a metaphor, but it's very real. It's called horticultural therapy. Like, you really use the farm as a therapy. You don't even have to talk to anybody yet. But pretty soon, just being out in the sunshine and the fresh air and doing something productive, and you look and I cleared this whole patch of weeds. Wow, that soil looks great. And then we say, so compare that metaphor to you. What does that empty patch of fresh soil represent for you? That means a whole clean slate. Now, what do you want to put in there? Because if you don't put anything in there, the weeds will come back. So let's talk about positive affirmations. You know, let's talk about all the things that you have accomplished and focus on the positive. So, you know, like soil that's been abused and battered and mistreated and abused, you can reclaim that and grow beautiful things on there. And so then the farms becomes like a metaphor for their own lives. And it's not always fun. It's not always easy. Some days it's a lot of hard work, but eventually beautiful things grow out of there. And so the same is true for the women. They transform. And I saw a woman who was going through a really tough divorce, custody battle and everything, clear out an entire section of our garden over a week. Like, she got all her frustration out in that, and it was transformative for that space. But she like let go of so much stress and rage and justifiable anger. Like, I know why she was pissed like that. It was so productive. It gives me chicken skin to remember that, because she looked completely different after that whole thing. She was relaxed. And it's funny because, you know, if you say to a funder, well, this woman learned how to relax at the farm. I don't know that that's exactly the story to tell, but it is a result of the work that she did at the farm. She learned how to relax and let go of all these things that were...
That load she was carrying, it must have been just awesome.
It was huge. And so, you know, there's a lot of these stories. Like, we had a woman who actually came from a big city on the mainland. Like, she had never gardened before, never even thought about it. And so she came on the farm. She loved it. Like, I would see her there on the weekends. She'd be, oh, I'm good. I'm just pulling all these weeds and picking the papayas, and she just loved it. It helped her flourish. So some people may never garden again when they leave, but I think more than a few of them go on to have at least a small garden or a couple of plants in pots, because it helps you see that life has a season, that everything changes. Like even the worst of times are going to become better, and it reminds you that it's a season. So there's countless metaphors. I'm not even talking about the native Hawaiian plant metaphors we have at the farm. That's some deep stuff. It is so good. I've always loved the farm. I just think it makes all the difference for the women and the children who come and live there. Yeah.
I think when you mentioned the seasons a little while ago, there's something to that. I mean, there's a time, a place, a season.
Yeah.
Seasons come and go. Things in our life come and go.
Yes.
I mean, this thing could just go on.
Yes.
In so many different directions.
In fact, we were talking about that this morning. We do, before our community garden, we all sit in a circle and we talk about, we do this thing called a weather ball. It was a lesson brought to us by this woman on Oahu, and we pass a ball around and what's your weather like? Just a check-in, how are you doing? And then we had this just kind of random conversation about things that change over time, and like even your handbag size. My purse has gotten bigger as I get older, and I remember my mother having a big purse, and because people depend on you to have everything in your bag. And so we had this whole conversation about that, and how things change over time, and that continued as we were weeding the garden, and the conversation was what else changes over time. And it was such a rich conversation because so many things. Some of us were getting a tan because it was kind of nice to be out in the sunshine. It was beautiful. And then we started talking about, we wanted to get more of a tan. We're like, one of our farm hands is out there sometimes with her bathing suit on and the sprinkler going because it's so hot, and she's got this wheelbarrow and her boots on. I'm like, farming is sexy. and I told her I'm going to take a picture of you and put it on our Facebook, but I didn't. But we were talking about that, like how do we use our bodies in different ways, and how our bodies change over time, and that we're so strong, and how squatting in the garden to pull these weeds is really good for our health, and using our arms to use a picker to pick all these lychee and the papayas, and it's very good for our physical health, and then that affects our mental health because, as we know, our mental health affects our physical health and vice versa. So if we can approach the women on all aspects of their lives, their physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, it makes a big difference. And so coming to the farm, like I've heard women say, it's the perfect transition for them out of domestic violence shelter or treatment or homelessness. It's a pause so that they have very affordable rent, and they can practice their things while they're there and integrate what they learned in treatment or at the domestic violence shelter for when they're on their own. So they have this support for a year, about a year. Some is less, some is more. And then they're on their own, and they can always come back, and they often do, which is great. And we hired 2 of the graduates. We've hired more than 2, but in recent months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'd love to do that, and because who's going to tell the story better than somebody who's been there themselves? Yeah.
What the goal obviously is to have them prepared to go back out into the world as self-sufficient.
Yeah.
Now, does that include any training for a job or preparing for that?
Yep. So again, coming out of these situations, not only do you tend to be more isolated, you also may have a sketchy job history, either as for any of these scenarios. So we have a stipend program where they can apply for this program, get a resume put together, and set their hours, and then they earn $10 an hour. It's not a real job. It's not even minimum wage. It's a stipend. So it's a good amount of money, but it helps them set their own schedule. Then they accomplish that. So we work on them with their goals. They create goals for themselves, and one of them is usually around employment or training. So if they're wanting to get a job, this helps them learn those soft skills. set my schedule, show up on time. If I'm not able to make it, I need to let my boss know or my supervisor know. Being responsible and accountable, turn in a timesheet, then all those things. So those are the more soft skills. And then once they work on the farm for a period of time, they're eligible for this farm workers program through MEO. Maui Economic Opportunity runs this national farm workers program, which has helped to go back to school. So even if you don't want to work in agriculture, maybe especially they'll help you for a year with tuition, maybe gas vouchers or whatever you might need, and clothes, even computers if you need help with that. And then, so we have a woman who just finished her second semester in human services because she's so inspiring. She came through a lot of stuff with 2 kids, and she used a lot of different human services, and so she wanted to be one of those helpers. And so she's now in human services, second semester.
Play it forward.
Yes.
Help somebody like she was helped.
Yep, she's one of those people that at some point we hope to hire her back too.
Cool.
So very inspiring, and she shares her story too, and I'm super grateful for that.
Right.
She'll actually be one of the speakers at My United Way's annual meeting next week. So
great.
we're super proud of her.
This has got to be exciting for you, coming from the world of women helping women, where the women were in trouble
Sure.
and needed something, and now you're on the other end where you're providing that something,
Yes.
and watching them go out into the world almost as new people.
Yeah, it is. It's like we have these butterfly metaphors everywhere because, there's a saying, just when the caterpillar thought her life was over, she became a butterfly. So, yes, the caterpillar is gone, but now you're a butterfly. And so what does that look like? And there's another one that has the caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly, and it says, give yourself time. Because if you see yourself as the caterpillar or you see yourself as the chrysalis, you have no idea what you're really going to become. So that kind of gives me chicken skin, but I love that. And so there are, oh my God, countless metaphors on the farm and the women. So yeah, coming from domestic violence, I loved that work, and that's how I got to know the Maui Farm, because we were really strong partners for many years. And so I would take everybody to the farm, like partners, other shelter people, domestic violence agents, because I think the farm is replicable. It is just probably the best solution for many kinds of challenges, but especially for women and their children who are working to be self-sufficient. It is so powerful and dynamic. So, yeah.
Wow, what a story! What a story!
Lots of stories.
And again, we're talking about the community gardening day that you have every last Saturday of the month. 9 a.m. to 11. Do they need to call?
Yeah, that would be really helpful. So a couple things you can do. You can follow us at the Maui Farm on Facebook. That's all we got. We don't have any more. Someday maybe. I'm kind of old for social media, but we do have younger staff.
Oh, yeah, right.
But we do a great Facebook. And then if you would like to volunteer, maybe you have a service group even. We have a lot of great service clubs come up. We have the Rotaries up, Seroptimus. So we have a lot of service clubs that come and do projects. And just give us a call at the Maui Farm, 579-8271, or find us online. You can communicate through our website, which is a good way, or email Kaiulani at themauifarm.org. She's our contact person. She'll put you on the calendar for community gardening on the last Saturday of the month. Just 2 hours, 9 to 11 on the last Saturday of the month. And we usually have a nice, refreshing tea that we make on the farm after everyone helps. And sometimes we even have the fruits that we've harvested that day, either to eat or take home with you. No one ever leaves empty-handed from the farm. There's always things you can take, seedlings, or we sell some plants too. So it's a fun day at the farm. It's kind of cathartic. And a lot of people want to do that but don't have a farm. So we tell them, come, plant your stuff, and then when we harvest, it's yours. Like, for real. Those should be your plants. So I'm thinking, like, one of our lasagna beds that we're making, we're going to give to this guy that helps us so much that he can plant his stuff there.
So I've learned something new, lasagna beds.
Yep.
I'm a lasagna eater from way back, and boy, the minute you said that word, you had my full attention.
For sure.
Anyway, wonderful. Thank you so much, Stacy.
Oh my gosh, thank you too. You do such a great job. Thank you for researching all of us and knowing so much about us before we get here.
Hey, you guys just add to what's going on in our county and what everybody's doing. I mean, everybody has got just a little different twist on what they're doing. Yeah. Which is great. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Maui no Kauai for many reasons.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you too.
Have a great day.
You too.
Excuse me. We're going to shift gears now, and we're going to talk to Brooke Brown, who is the executive director of Nakeke o Emilia. And welcome back.
Thank you, Susie. It's nice to be back.
How you doing? I know last time you were on, you had so much exciting news.
Well, we've got more exciting news.
Wow.
But how I'm doing is it's like, I'm wearing so many hats right now that I barely know what I look like under them. We have really grown, which is very exciting. And we've got 2 upcoming events that I've been very busy planning right now. One of them is Emilia's Table. And that was our first fundraiser last year, which we decided we'd make our annual signature event. And it's totally virtual, so people get to stay home. And for all the people who said, especially near the end of the year, I'd pay to stay home, this is your chance.
This is your dream come true.
This is your dream come true. And so we have, I haven't put the link up yet, but it's going to be posted very soon. In the next couple of days, because Emilia's Table starts on Emilia's birthday, which is the 19th of June, and the bidding opens then and will stay open through the 25th. So it'll be up online for a week. And people can go to the URL, that will be on our Nakeke o Emilia website landing page. And then they can look and see what the items are. And I can tell you right now, we have we've got meals, some dining experiences. We have hotel stays and some individual things like, a coastal hike in Waihe'e and the Maui Animal Petting Zoo, private party there, and saltwater fly fishing casting lesson.
Oh, wow.
And, just a variety of things. And a couple of dinner shows in Luau. And many of our really, really fine restaurants have donated dinners or gift certificates towards dinners. And same with hotel stays. And they range, in terms of the size of the cost of the dinner. So quite a few items. I think we're going to have like 50 packages or so. Yeah. And actually, a couple of the big items are we have a house in Tahoe that's been donated for a week, and I think it sleeps 12. I'm not sure.
My goodness.
So that will be an item going for auction. And we have a condominium. I've been actually at the place. It's a private apartment, not a condominium. At someone's house. It's a separate. It's private unit, but again, a stay for a week in Aspen. That's a pretty exciting deal.
Yeah.
I think an overnight or two, a weekend on Molokai is another one like that. So we've got a range of activities.
There's got to be
and
something
things.
on that list that somebody wants.
Probably. And last year we had items people could buy. This year we're not doing that. Everything's going to be a bid item, and you'll be able to see
how the bids are going.
How the bids are going, so you'll know where you stand. You don't just make your bid. You'll learn if you've been outbid, and you can do this from a mobile phone or you can do it from your laptop or your PC.
Wow.
So. Very exciting.
Last year must have been successful that you've gone bigger and better this year.
It was successful. It was great. And, Yeah, and this year looks even better. And last year we just had meals,
Right.
and this year we've expanded it to experiences, and it's cool. And we have 4 sponsors this year. I don't know if I can mention them or
Sure,
not.
yes.
Yeah, Creative Core, which is an educational consulting company, Walker Industries, Hue Interior Design. I know that they advertise here on your station, and Minute Medical.
Ah.
And so, they're helping us with this whole auction.
Wow.
And it's been very exciting. So we're really looking forward to it.
I like the idea, that it's one thing to go to an event and have the auction items out front and take a look at them and put in a bid and go in and have your meal and part of the program and rush back out to make that final bid before they close kind of thing. But this intrigues me because you're looking at something that over a period of a week, you can go in, you can maybe do a small bid, start it out, and then watch during the week, or just wait and come back like 2 days before it ends and see where it's gone to.
Exactly.
And try to beat that last minute rush to.
Well, also, it's going to go up. The URL will be up. I've just got a few more things to do with it. So that will hopefully be up within a couple of days, within a day or two. So then you would be, if you wanted to know what the URL is, you would, unless you happen to be on our mailing list, you would just go to the Nakeki website. You'd see the URL, and you could click on it there, and it'll take you right to the landing page for the auction site, and you'll be able to view all the items.
Even before it starts.
Well, days before it starts. It's just that the bidding won't open until the 19th.
Right.
So yeah, you
Oh,
can
how cool.
you can see something, and maybe there's something like that hike, and you'd like it, and you think, well, I don't know, because there'll be a minimum bid set for several of these, and that hike is for up to, I forget now, but it's up to 10 people. I think
Wow.
it is. And so then you might go, well, that's more than I'd want to spend, but maybe you hooey with some of your friends.
Sure.
And pretty neat. It's going to be like I think a 4 or 5 hour hike,
Wow.
and there are a lot of archaeological sites, and you'll learn a lot about Hawaiian history, and so very
Gosh.
exciting. Yeah.
I like that. I just, because I'm not good at those sudden decisions, because sometimes I'll just, oh yeah, that sounds really great in the moment, but if you've got a few days to think about it,
Yeah.
you might go for something you really, really want. Yeah. On that note, we've got to take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Aloha from Pacific Source, and thank you for your support over the years. Pacific Source has offered more of what builders and homeowners value most in building materials and cabinet design. We've done this by offering superior customer service and products, as well as by designing kitchens and baths that are intelligent and elegant while staying true to your vision and budget. Visit our showroom in Waikapu in Central Maui, where we display a variety of cabinets as well as top-name appliances like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Viking, KitchenAid, and more. We display countertops, tile and wood flooring, and several brands of windows and doors, including Fleetwood multi-slides and La Cantina folding doors. Come in and talk to our designers about making your dreams become a reality. From concept to completion, we really believe our attention to detail and superior service are what sets us apart. Let us show you what we mean. We are a Pacific Source at 515 East Oahe Way in the Consolidated Base Yard in Waikapu, just off Waiko Road. Call us at 986-0380. That's 986-0380, or look us up online at packsource.com.
And we are back. This is Maui Nonprofit Notes, the weekly radio show where we talk story with our nonprofit executive directors and staff to find out what's happening in their world. And we're second half of the show today. We're talking with Dr. Brooke Brown, who's the executive director of Nakeki o Emilia. Let's go back to the name of your organization and what it stands for, and just a little bit on that, because we may have some people out there who haven't heard from you.
Yes, Emilia was my daughter, and she died 5 years ago of colorectal cancer. And she died a few days after their son's 3rd birthday. And in my past life, I was a psychologist in California and worked with adults. And a large number of the adults who would come in to see me for depression or anxiety or relationship problems didn't realize it when they walked in the door, But when we got going and they started talking about, what was going on in their lives, their problem really traced back to unprocessed grief from childhood. The grief stemming from the death of a parent or a sibling, someone close to them that they loved. And after Emilia died, I wanted some sort of resource for Kahala. Excuse me. And there wasn't anything that I was aware of at the time. So I started this, and Grace was definitely at work, and I chose the Dougie Center in Portland, Oregon as our model. And it turns out that the Dougie Center is the gold standard in the field. And later I learned that Liliokoleni Trust has a program also based on the Dougie Center, but they can only work with people of Hawaiian ancestry, which leaves a large number of people on Maui out of luck. And so we began, and what we do is, well, that was the genesis. And what we do is we don't do therapy or counseling. We run peer support groups, which are the most effective way of working with kids, because big things for children are they feel that they're alone and no one understands what they're going through. And in our experience, and kids will talk about it, there's not a lot of dialogue in most families about the person who died. Sometimes it's a cultural thing. Sometimes there's shame around the cause of the death. And sometimes it's simply time, because the surviving parent, if it's a parent who died, is so busy and taking care of the other children and working that, it's not a conversation that just sort of, you make an appointment, you set a time to have it. And some of the kids will say, I can't talk to my mom because I hear her crying every night. And they don't want to add to their parent. They're afraid they'll add to their parents' burden. And likewise, a lot of adults will say, my child seems to be doing fine, so I don't want to bring it up because I don't want to upset the apple cart. And so what we do, we're working now in two ways. Our main thing has been, to date, has been an evening group once every 2 weeks. And parents or adults who are constant in the child's life come with the child. And we take children. Right now our youngest is 6, I believe, and maybe even a 4-year-old. And our oldest right now is 17. But the age span for us is 3 to 18. And the kids go in one room and the adults go in another room, and no mix and match. And we honor confidentiality. So unless, as mandated reporters, we have to violate we have to break the confidentiality, we don't talk to the parents about how their kids are doing or what their kids are talking about. So the kids have a place to really talk. And the parents get a lot of support too, because this is new territory for many, many of them. And then we were not reaching the number of kids that we felt needed help. Right now, according to statistics based on the U.S. Census, there are 1,848 children under 18 in Maui County who've had a sibling or a parent die.
Wow.
It's huge.
1,800.
1848, Maui County. And that's just a sibling or a parent that's factored into this data. And these data, we find that a lot of the people who are coming have had an uncle who was like a father figure die, or a grandmother that they were very, very close to. So we serve kids who have had someone they love die, and it can be a family member, it can be a extended Ohana member, friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, just as long as it's somebody that they loved. And so we started going into the schools. And last year, I think we had 7 groups in different schools. And this is really, when I say we've grown, the first year we ran groups was in 2016. And we had served 25 people in that year. And I don't think our groups got going till midway through the year. But last year, 2018, we served 125
Wow.
new people. That's not counting. No, I guess that does count. That's the total. I can't remember. No, I think that was just
New.
no, excuse me. That was just 125 for the year. So we're up to, I think, around, I don't know, 270 almost right now of people we've served. And people can come as long as they want and find it of benefit. And they don't have to, they can drop out whenever they want to. And it's at no cost. All the groups are free. And that's one reason this fundraiser is so important for us. And the other thing that we're doing, Susie, is we're putting on a workshop in July specifically for teachers, counselors. We're going to be inviting the nurses, chaplains, mentors, coaches, school personnel at all the schools on Maui. And I think actually one of my board members is involved with this too, and I think she's thinking of inviting Oahu people as well. And it's a one-day workshop we're going to do at the Cameron Center. And our purpose, we're calling it Meeting the Social, Emotional, and Academic Needs of Grieving Students. Because what we find is that lots of teachers don't have any idea about children's grief. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know how it might manifest in the classroom. They don't know what children need. And one of the things that I feel pretty strongly about is that they can have a child, let's say a high schooler right now, who's, in their terms, acting out in class, being a behavioral problem, or their grades have tanked, don't know, just some different varieties of manifestations. And they can think that the child is just, using or being obnoxious or wants attention. I mean, any of these things. But in fact, it could well be that what they're seeing is grief coming out that tracks back to maybe the boy's father died 6 years ago. And he has seemed fine until now. But he was just about to get his driver's permit. And it had always been his dad who was going to teach him how to drive. And
there's a trigger.
Here's a trigger. And there's the grief. And so it could be that this child isn't trying to be disruptive in class, but I would say this is a special needs situation. So there are accommodations a grieving child needs. And it's just like, it doesn't matter for adults or whatever. When you are grieving, your brain is not the same. It doesn't work the same way. Your memory is shot. It's very difficult to focus. It's like depression. Very hard to focus. It is depression. Hard to focus, hard to concentrate, hard to remember things. So all these things play out and can affect a student's grades hugely. So they may need more time to take a test or extended time for reports or homework. They need to be cut slack, not to make them special, but these are real needs. And to not give the kids this advantage, I think, is really punitive. That's probably not the right word, but it's a shame. So we want to educate more of the personnel. So this is the first time we're going to do it. It is summer, but we didn't want to wait until the school year. We thought we'll just start this, we'll do it, and see how many people we get. And we can do it again in the future. We'll do it as often as we need to keep doing it. And then we can also go to the schools. If any school wants us to come in and train them more specifically, we can do that. This is going to be just a one-day overall kind of thing.
Yeah, wow.
So we're moving. We're
That's
doing a bunch of
tremendous,
stuff.
Yeah. So now you still have the evening class
Yep.
for the evening sessions.
Yep.
But you must have more of them if you have that many more.
We've had turnover, interestingly enough. I heard we had 4 families this last Monday night, and there were a total of 9 kids who were there the other night. And sometimes it depends on how many children are in a family. And this week, since that group, I've gotten 2 more calls from people
Interesting.
who are planning to come to the next time. And so, I mean, I've already said to my board, I've said, when we hit this critical mass for that group, when we've outgrown that space, we need to start a second group. And so we're going to be needing to find some space where we can do that. And it'll be central, and it would be at the same time evening, but probably a different night of the week, so we can use different facilitators.
I'm thinking about, you just mentioned it depends on how many are in the family. Now, the kids in the family don't all react the same way to a death.
No.
So some are coming because they're having issues, and some don't even know that they're going to have issues or might have issues.
Yeah.
So it's to stem that.
Yeah, it's really prophylactic in some ways for many families, because some parents call and they say, I don't know if my child needs this or not. My response is, why don't you come and just let your child visit once and see if the child wants to continue or not. Because we find that some kids may be quiet to begin with, but they start talking. And the value of the group, even if that child comes twice and goes, I don't need this, they know we exist. And just in that one evening or two evenings, they learn that they're not alone.
Right.
There are other kids in that boat.
Right. They're not different.
No, exactly.
There are others going through the same thing they are.
Exactly.
It's a fact of life.
Exactly.
Wow.
And just even in coming with that adult, it gives rise to more opportunity for them to talk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
For more information, how do they get a hold of you?
They can phone me at 214-9832, or they can visit our website, which is www.nkoemaui.org.
Great.
Yeah. Or they can email me at brooke@nkoemaui.org.
Brooke, thank you so much for being on today.
Thank you.
And
this has
good
been
luck
wonderful.
with this fundraiser.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exciting.
I'll make sure you get a
Please.
link.
Yeah, that's great. And it's again, that starts next week on the 19th, which is what, Wednesday? A week from today.
Yep.
Very good. So we'll be in touch, and I'm
Thank you.
anxious to see how that goes, because some of those are interesting, and I'm kind of one
this-
of those people that, kind of sometimes on the weekend, when I just don't want to be doing anything heavy-duty thinking, whatever. Something like that's great. I'll sit down and I'll go log on and take a look.
You should have your link by this weekend,
Yeah.
for sure,
Okay.
if it's emailed. So
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
and
Susie.
Continued success. This is wonderful to see how it's going and
Yes.
and how many people you're helping. It's great.
Very happy making. Thank
you. Maui Nonprofit Notes is sponsored as a community service by Pacific Source, the builder's choice. Please give them a call at 986-0380 or stop by their showroom in the Waikapu Bayshard on East Oahe Way to see how they can help you with your building project. Pacific Source has been our sponsor from day one, and we thank them for their ongoing support. And to you, our listeners, we thank you for the responses our agencies get from you regarding the activities talked about on this program. Today we talked to Stacy Moniz from the Maui Farm, and we talked with Dr. Brooke Brown from Nakeki o Emalia, and found out what the latest is on their programs and what's happening. We want to thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to join us again next week, right here, same time, same place, when we'll feature 2 more representatives of Maui Nonprofit Directors membership. Until then, I'm Susie Tiemann, Executive Director of Lokahi Pacific, and the host for Maui Nonprofit Notes. It's always a pleasure to hear the exciting things that are happening at these programs and how they're growing and how they're serving more and more people that with needs to help them get back into society. It's a great day today. We want to thank you all for joining us again. Have a great week, everyone. Aloha.